Hi, this tutorial covers the mode. So let's start with the definition. The mode is the most frequently occurring data value. The mode can be used to describe the center or the central tendency of a data set distribution. Remember that when you're describing a data distribution, you want to comment on the center, the spread, the shape, and any unusual features of a distribution. The mode is one good way of describing the center or measuring the center of the distribution. So mode is one of our measures of center, along with mean and median. Okay, it's easier to calculate the mode if the data is organized or summarized in a table or a graph. Alright, so let's take a look at an example. The following data show the number of runs scored by the Minnesota Twins baseball team in the final 10 games of the 2011 season. Okay, so we have 4-4, 3-5, 2-6-6, 3-7-1. So in the very last game of the season, they only scored 1 run. Second to the last game, they scored 7 runs. Okay, so let's go ahead and determine the mode number of runs scored over this time period. Okay, so again, I think it's easier to do this if the data is in order. So I'm going to order it. So 1 is my smallest, then 2. We had 2 3s, 2 4s, 5, 2 6s, and a 7. Okay, again, I like to count to make sure I have all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I do. So I do have all 10 of my values. Okay, now the mode is the most frequently occurring number. Okay, now in this case, I don't just have one value that represents the mode. Okay, so notice 1 had a frequency of 1, 2 had a frequency of 1, 3 had a frequency of 2, 4 had a frequency of 2, 5, 1, 6, 2, 7, 1. Okay, so actually here, we really have 3 modes. This won't always be like this. Sometimes you'll just have one mode, but your 3 modes are 3, 4, and 6. Okay, so it is okay to have more than one mode. Generally, it's not as useful if you have multiple modes. Let's say maybe if we went back another game and they scored 6 runs, if 6 happened 3 times, that's going to be a little more meaningful if you just have one mode. But it is possible to have multiple modes. Alright, so let's take a look at another example. Okay, also about the Minnesota Twins. The following frequency table shows the number of runs scored by the Twins for all 162 games in 2011. Okay, so now notice instead of just 10 games, we have all 162. Okay, so if you were to add up all these frequencies, these will add up to 162. Okay, and then notice here your runs scored. All of the numbers are accounted for. Looks like they never scored 12 runs in a game, so it jumps from 11 to 13. Okay, so now the mode here is really easy to determine because now you just look for what's the most frequent number. Okay, and if I look down, okay, 28 is the most frequent number, 26 is close, or 28 is the highest frequency, 28 matches up with 1. So in this case, my mode is equal to 1. Okay, that's actually maybe a good reason why they didn't win that many games in 2011 is because 28 games they only scored 1 run. One run will not win you many baseball games. So it's pretty easy to determine the mode when you have a frequency table like this. Again, you can have multiple modes if you're looking at a frequency also. So let's say that this was also 28, then my mode would be both 1 and 3. Okay, so that's kind of how to determine the mode using a frequency table. Okay, the last thing we'll look at here is that sometimes, so for larger data sets, there can sometimes be local high points and local high points that are also called modes. So instead of having like one number represent a mode, if you're looking at a distribution like this, you might have a mode in this range. So instead of just having one number as a mode, we can see, well, this looks to be there's a lot of numbers here, there's a lot of numbers here. So sometimes the distribution above is known as a bimodal distribution. So it's bimodal because we have a lot of frequently occurring numbers here, a lot of frequently occurring numbers here. So you're not necessarily just assigning one number as a mode, but you're looking kind of for clusters. So bimodal meaning two modes. So that has been your tutorial on the mode. Thanks for watching.